And then finally, own and manage your social brand and your online reputation. Register your brand socially. So use that Noam service to ensure that you've got your brand registered on Facebook, on Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Foursquare, a few other important social networks. You might not be using them now, but you will be potentially using them in the future. So grab your brand just now and monitor your online reputation. Which brings us on to phase number 3, broaden your base. So what's broaden your base? Broaden your base. First of all, stop relying on just a few sources of traffic. A lot of people make the mistake of they're ranking really high in Google, they're driving thousands of visitors through pay-per-click and converting those visitors, and they're making decent money from those visitors, so they're doing well online. Well, that's just not the case, because actually what happens if Google overnight decides that they don't like your website anymore, decides that you've got to actually pay more for your keywords in pay-per-click. So broaden your base is all about broadening the traffic in terms of where it's coming from. Can you drive more traffic from other places? Don't just rely on 1 or 2 places for traffic, even though it is very good traffic. Try and make it 10+ places that you're driving traffic from. Analyze your competitors' backlinks. So I'll show you a service where you can actually use to analyze where your competitors are getting their links from, and probably their traffic as well. Build relationships with different bloggers, and also look for guest posting opportunities as well. Guest posting is where you can actually write a post and get it published on a really high traffic website and forge relationships with that website owner, but also actually drive traffic from that side as well. So first of all, starting off, broaden your base with reducing your risk. You may have great organic rankings. You may have mastered PPC, but what happens if Google says no, they don't want to rank you anymore? Well, first of all, you need to actually try and get the traffic that your competitors are getting. And you can use this service called Open Site Explorer. There's a free version where you can see just 5 results. If you sign up with SEO Moz for free, you get a few more results as well. And there's another paid service with SEO Moz where you actually get a lot of results. But even the free service is fairly decent because you can actually see which links are the most valuable links that are pointing to your competitors. So filter Open Site Explorer to actually show followed and external links only. So that means you're not interested in the links from your competitor's own website that is pointing to their homepage. So external links only means links from other websites that are pointing to your competitor's site. Followed. Does everyone know the difference between no follow and follow? Does that ring a bell? No? Okay, that's fine. No follow and follow. What happens is within the code of a link, someone can actually write, I don't want this link to be given any juice by search engines, to actually count as a vote in search engines. Because different links from other websites that are followed as an actual signal that it's a relevant link, a link that makes that page more relevant. And that's one of the main reasons why a web page will rank higher in Google, because it's got more relevant, decent links pointing to your site. It used to be many years ago where it mattered the number of links that pointed to your site. Now it's about the quality and the relevance of links that point to your site. But those links can either be followed or non-followed. Followed means it's a signal to search engines that's fine. It's a link that's worthwhile considering in your algorithm. No follow means that there's a little tag within that link that tells search engines, I'm linking to this page, but please don't pass any juice from my site to this other site. So there are lots of different reasons to make a link no follow. So it's not worthwhile going really deeply into that at the moment, but all you should know in terms of follow and no follow is you're only interested in the links that are followed by search engines and the links that are followed by search engines to get to your competitors. So analyze your competitors' links in Open Site Explorer, see which ones are followed, and external links from other sites only. And use page authority and domain authority within Open Site Explorer. But when you go on there, you'll be able to see these metrics. And generally, you know, after you actually compare and contrast a few different competitor websites, you will get a feeling of those scores. Generally, a ranking of about 30 and above in terms of domain authority and page authority indicates that it's a reasonable website. But you've got really high authority websites that will have a ranking of maybe 70 or 80 or even above. And that will indicate there's a massively popular website. But even if you have a ranking of 30 or above, and you can get a link from a few relevant websites of that authority, then it's certainly worthwhile the effort to try and get those links. So you need to determine how the link occurred and attempt to achieve the same for your site. So once you see the links that are linking to your competitors' sites, it may be because it's a directory, it may be because it's a collection of information, or perhaps an article about that website. But perhaps there's an opportunity for you to provide some content to the website and get it to link to you. And if it's a decent authority site, if it's relevant to your niche, then it's really worth the effort to do that. So the next is blogger relations. So this is kind of related to that. And what I suggest is finding medium authority bloggers in your niche and subscribing to their updates. So why medium authority bloggers? Why not high authority bloggers? Well, generally, medium authority bloggers will be a little bit more open to exploring new relationships. They'll be more likely to actually receive, read, and perhaps even act on communication from you. So I would suggest looking for bloggers with a page rank of 3 to 5, an Alexa rank of 100,000 to 500,000 is a good range to target these kind of bloggers. Try searching services like Blog Catalog, Technorati, and Google Blog Search to actually find these bloggers. So if you find these bloggers in your niche using Blog Catalog, that's the Blog Catalog service, first of all, link to them from your blog. Generally, if you've got a blog yourself, you might have what's called a blog roll. A blog roll is essentially a list of other bloggers that you like and read yourself. So within your sidebar navigation, give them a link. Then subscribe to their own feed. See what they're saying in terms of posts. And if they write a post that's relevant, that's interesting, that's useful, comment on their posts. Add something of value yourself. Don't just say, nice post, thanks for sharing, or rubbish like that, because that's the kind of thing that a cheap outsourcer will do. You need to add real value to their post. And reference their posts from your own blog posts as well. There's a mechanism within WordPress which will often recognize other blog posts that have referenced your blog post. So if you reference someone else's blog post by just linking to it from your blog post, then that will often notify the other blog post owner that you have referenced them. And that automated mechanism will make it very easy to actually raise your head above the parapet in terms of the knowledge of your site with this other blogger out there. So it's a good idea to actually link to other blog posts from your own blog posts, and try and do that on a regular basis. Link to other useful, relevant content. Guest posting. So search for guest writers wanted plus your industry segment in Google. And if you do that, you can collate a list of guest posting opportunities, prioritizing by page rank, domain authority, and relevance. There are so many guest posting opportunities out there. As long as you offer decent, valuable, unique content. I've just searched guest writers wanted travel here. And you can see there's about 4,000 results in Google for that. So you can certainly easily find these opportunities in Google. Have a look at these websites' PageRank, their domain authority, their Alexa rank, their metrics that indicate whether or not they are high authority websites. Even actually you can go in and see how many Facebook page fans they've got or likes they've got, some Twitter followers. You can have a look at comments on their blog posts as well. So make a decision to actually research writing opportunities and then say that you've got a good article that you want to submit to this website, and then test the website out in terms of metrics, how much traffic they're driving to your site from the article that you've posted on the site, and obviously how that traffic is converting your goals that you've already set up in Google Analytics. So, phase 3, broaden your base. Stop relying on just a few sources of traffic. If you've got good search rankings for different keyword phrases, don't just rest on your laurels. Analyze your competitors' backlinks, build relationships with bloggers, look for guest post opportunities there. Just drive lots of different sources of traffic to your site. Another thing that you can do at this stage of broadening your base is potentially set up your own affiliate marketing scheme, where if you're selling your own products and services online, then you can use third-party services or third-party software to drive traffic at your site. I recommend focusing on SEO first of all, because if you're building relationships with bloggers, you want natural links back to your site. You don't want affiliate tracking links, which won't be counted by Google. So try and focus on SEO first of all, but affiliates, links, affiliate traffic could be an appropriate thing to implement on this stage. So that's phase 3, broaden your base, which takes us on to the very final phase, broaden your horizon. So broaden your horizon. So what that's about is actually ensuring that you're taking advantage of new media marketing opportunities. It's not just about the written content online. It's not just about being online. It's about a digital presence, and it's about where people read and really embrace that digital content. So audio interviews can be a great way of building your profile, syndication and SEO. Ebooks and e-magazines broaden your reach online. And videos are another really effective funnel. So funnel is an important word, because think of it as broadening your reach, getting content out there on loads of different devices, and getting subtle funnels back to your site. And as long as your site converts and it's relevant to that content, you get enough visitors, you will get enough conversions, and you'll just get natural traffic back to your site. So audio interviews, or otherwise known as podcasting. Industry experts love to be interviewed. If you ask someone for a link back to your site, they probably won't even reply to your email. But if you say to someone, I'm conducting an interview on this topic, and I know that you're an industry expert because you've published this article, could you possibly spare half an hour of your time to be interviewed on this? In my experience, and I've done lots of podcast interviews, lots of top people in industries will say yes, absolutely, no problem at all. Skype to Skype with recording software works great, and you can edit with a free tool called Audacity as well. Transcribe the recording using a service like Scribie. So let's have a look at these services here, and then publish the recording on a blog post and submit to podcasting directories. So again, in the 26-week digital marketing plan Inner Circle, I do obviously go into greater depth, because there's only so much I can cover here. I'm trying to give as much content as I can, but it's an overview of each area. So let's have a look into these different pieces of software, these different recording platforms. Because you can produce content like this. Look, I've got top podcasters here, a top Australian internet marketer, a top outsourcer, app person, and also kind of keyword research person as well. So these are top people within their industry that I've interviewed. And I've just done that process. I've just contacted them and said, I host a regular podcast. I'd like to interview on this particular subject, because I like this article. Make sure you go that extra mile and actually say to them why you like them and reference a particular article. Because remember, they get so many requests like this. If you're just a little bit kind of personal in terms of telling something very specific, then you're more likely to get that yes. I've had loads of yeses like that before. So what software do I use for podcasting? Skype. Skype's free to use. There's a MX Skype Recorders is a nice kind of recording piece of software that you can use with Skype. There are lots of pieces of software, in addition to that. This one costs about $30. Audacity is a great tool for editing audio because you can put your MP3 file through Audacity, and you can easily cut off bits and pieces. If you've got a bit that you don't like in particular, Audacity can chop that off quite easily. And they can also take out things like background noise. If you've got a bit of a hum because of a computer or something like that, you can use Audacity to take out that background noise. And this piece of software called the Levelator, that's another free piece of software, and that's great as well, because quite often if you're interviewing someone in another country, and I've interviewed people in America and Australia, and Skype's fantastic for doing that, but you can quite often get someone who's not quite the right volume or dips in and out of the conversation a little bit because of a dodgy line. If that's the case, put the recording through this bit of software called the Levelator, and what that will do is it'll actually make the recording all nice and consistent in the right volume. So the two people talking are of consistent volume. And then Scribie as well. You probably noticed in my posts, that's all my podcasts. I've got the transcription of the podcast there as well. Because although audio is great, and people can subscribe to audio, they're not necessarily going to want to do that all the time. Some people love reading, some people love audio, some people love video. So try to appeal to as many different types of people as possible. And the people that like the reading, publish the written content on your site as well. But that's not only appealing to those people, it's also appealing towards search engines as well, because of course search engines are more likely to be able to crawl content, written content, as opposed to audio content. They'll get better and better, with audio content over time. But if you can provide that written as content as well, demonstrating to search engines that you're serious about your topic. So I use the service called Scribie. There are only I don't know the exact cost here, but it's something like. I think it's $1.50 an audio minute, so it's not that much really, and that you can get a decent quality transcript of your recording there as well if you use that service. Hosting. Now, if you've got audio, then you're not going to be able to use a decent free audio-only hosting service. So if you're serious about podcasting, then you want to use a service like Libsyn. Now, Libsyn is, fairly cheap. They start off at something like $5 a month, and that's just the hosting of that content. So if you're doing podcasting on a regular basis, that's probably the best service to use. If you're not doing it on a regular basis, then I'd probably recommend using Amazon S3. Amazon S3 is a fairly cheap hosting service that can deliver big files like your audio file, because your audio file is a fairly big file. So if you've got your own shared server host like HostGator or VitaHost, what you don't want to be doing is uploading massive files and expecting a shared host like that to be quite comfortable with delivering big files and lots of content quickly. So especially if you're using a shared host, you've got big pieces of media, you've got audio files and video files. Stick with a shared host, but for the big files, host them on specialist servers. You can still drive, tens, 50s, probably hundreds of different downloads from Amazon without it costing you any more than $10 a month. So if it's just one or two files, host them on Amazon regular basis, use that Libsyn service. Something else you can do, ebooks and magazines. free ebooks in exchange for an email opt-in. That's something that's worked really, really well for me. Kindle ebooks and iPad magazines. So let's have a look at these free ebooks in exchange for an email opt-in. So that's another site of mine, 13 Pillars, 13 Pillars of Internet Marketing. Now that page actually converts at 36%. So 36% of people that land on that page will put in their name and email address and download that book. So it's a great, squeeze page as it is. And what a squeeze page is it's a page that only gives people one opportunity, one option. So it squeezes them towards that one option. So it's not great for your own or your main site, but if you've got what I call feeder sites that can actually feed into your email autoresponder or feed into your main site, then it's a good strategy to have additional brands like that. So what I've got is I've got the 26-week digital marketing plan as the main brand, but I've got another brand, the 13 Pillars of Internet Marketing, where I'm happy to be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to driving people towards the site, to actually squeeze their name and email address out of them, and then people opt into the list. Then I can tell them more about the 26-week digital marketing plan after that, and they can join up if they want, but they've opted into the database then as well. So it's a good way of actually delivering free ebooks. So I deliver probably about 10 opt-ins just through that 13 Pillars site. So there's many more opt-ins through the 26-week plan site, but that's just a feeder site that can deliver those additional opt-ins. And I use this WordPress theme called Optimize Press. So if you're going to use a strategy like that, then that's a good effective tool to actually use if you're going to deliver a free ebook and maximize your conversion rates. Because if you don't do that, quite easily your conversion rates will be worse than 10%. And if you can,